In terms of Jewish history, for some reason, the University of Alberta, because we had Hillel at that time, we still have it today, but in those days, all student organizations had to have a faculty advisor. And I was a co-faculty advisor with the late Dr. Norbert Berkowitz, and I was working with the Hillel group. We had a lot of fun with the students there, speakers coming in. And we would arrange for breakfasts at, for example, Beth Shalom. We would have a breakfast there and about once a month. And it was a very nice time regarding that aspect. The other aspect is Beth Israel Synagogue. As I am Orthodox, this was the synagogue I decided I would attend. And I got onto the board, 68, 69, and remained on the board till 1996. During that time, I still remember when I first came onto the board, activities were conducted almost in all Yiddish at that time. Little by little, as the older members passed away, it moved towards English. And I still remember quite a few of those golden old timers. They were really fine people. During the time I was on the board with Beth Israel, I was ritual chairman. I was also the chair of the Kashruth Committee for the synagogue, as well as eventually chair of the Kashruth Committee for the city of Edmonton itself. I was also active with the old Jewish Community Council, and I was the chair of the, what did we call it then? It wasn't public relations, it may have been community relations. And it was my job to write to the newspapers anytime something Jewish came up and we had great problems. And often it had to do with Israel, defending the state of Israel against statements that some people had made. And at one point, I was informed from Jewish Community Council, they had met with the RCMP. At that time, the Black September movement was active among the Palestinians. They were sending letter bombs into Canada, and I was considered one of the prime targets because of my defense of the state of Israel. We would occasionally get midnight phone calls from some Palestinian supporters. I would have to hang up on them. It was harassment, things were put in the mailbox, I won't tell you what. And I even had a bit of a tiff with the Talmud Torah, because since I was my family was a potential for letter bombs, I asked that our family name and our phone number be deleted from the phone book, which they used to issue in those days. They came around when they understood what the matter was. There was latent anti-Semitism. You didn't know it, but it was there. For example, for the birth of our second child, I had taken my wife right to the hospital. The border had broken, and I was signing her in. In those days at the University Hospital and other places, they asked you for your religion. So they asked the woman who was writing it up. I was trying to move fast so they could get her right upstairs to the maternity ward for this to continue. And she comes up, she says, "Well, what's your religion?" I said, "I'm Jewish." "Oh," she puts down Hebrew. I said, "We're not Hebrew, we're Jews. This is the Hebrews were our ancient ancestors." She says, "Oh." And she's writing, she says, "What do you do for a living?" She says, "I'm a professor at the U of A." "What department are you a professor?" she says to me. And I said, "Elementary education." And her answer was, "Oh, God help the children." I gave her a nasty look at that time. I didn't feel like pursuing the matter because my wife was out there. The birth came before anything. And she got the note that from my look, that she overstepped the line at that point. They didn't feel like taking it any further. We also had some incidents of additional, something very strange. At that time, it must have been about 1976, 77. Rabbi Cronenberger was the principal at the Talmud Torah. And he was in Beth Israel Synagogue one Sunday, and a Christian class came in, youngsters, elementary school age, I think upper elementary, and they wanted to know if they could get some information about the synagogue. They said, "Well, there's nobody here, but he's a rabbi, he'd be glad to talk to them. So they brought him into the synagogue, the children, they sent him down. And he was talking to them about various aspects of the synagogue, the windows, how many windows, why there were that many, what they were all about. And then he was talking about the Torah, and he said, the Torah ink is extraordinarily, very, very durable. Anybody know why the ink written with the Torah is durable? My kid raised her hand, and she said, yes. He called him. He says, because they use Christian blood to mix in with it to write the Torah. And he immediately made a correction on that one. So it just goes to show you what was floating around. And to this day still might be. I hope that it's not that way, because in general we've been very well accepted here. And at the time I came in, the president of the university happened to have been Jewish. And again, later on, Dr. Maya Horowitz was president of the U of A, also Jewish. Yes, the Kashruth Committee for the community. I was the last chair, and I had, unfortunately, had to disband it because there was some controversy starting between the conservative rabbi at that time and the Orthodox rabbi at that time, and I felt that that the matter was unfortunately something that had to be resolved. If it couldn't be resolved, I sent a letter in to the president of Jewish Federation at the time, stating that if this matter is not resolved, I'm tendering my resignation. And unfortunately, the matter was not resolved. I tendered it. The Kashruth Committee was disbanded, and our late president of the Chevra Kadisha, a very wonderful man, Nate Siegel, took over as community mashgiach, looking into things. He was a very fine man. He never took any money from the community for the work that he did on the Kashruth Committee. Of course, the university and the Hillel group, I like to know what's going on with them occasionally. And I am active, still active with Beth Shalom after taking a hiatus at one point.
Beth Israel, you mean? You said Beth Shalom.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm still active with Beth Israel. I had taken a hiatus because some disagreements I had regarding the building itself. That was the newer building that was built in the West End. Eventually, I did come back to it after quite a long lapse, but I'm back on the board again and active with the synagogue, with its minyan. I'm there almost virtually every day for the minyan. And unfortunately, during this pandemic, I can't get over there on Shabbos, so it's a little bit disconcerting. But otherwise, yes, still with Beth Israel.